Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from everywhere. I'm Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your Midday Market Report / Closing Bell. I am the co-host. Shout out to Mr. Riley Magnuson, Mr. Southside Riley. Great show and effort last night. As I was on my way to the Garden to watch the Celtics win but not cover miraculously against the Cleveland Cavaliers. It was kind of one of these Donovan Mitchell, anything you can do, Tatum can do better, and they went back and forth, each scoring 40-plus. Comically, Tatum was 2 assists away going into the fourth quarter for a triple-double, and he didn't get them, but he got his 41. And Celtics big lead in the fourth quarter. Cavs and Garland, 3 threes, I think, in the last minute and a half. Cut it to 4 with 11.2 seconds. Celtics inbound, and they just played keep away, and miraculously, they didn't foul. And the Cavaliers plus 4.5 cashed the biscuit. But today, shout out to the ECSI VIPs. Thirsty Thursday, a nice happy hour cash with the over 132 and a hook as we get to 137 there and we cash. I hope you're enjoying happy hour. Have a couple for me. 2 more games that we sent out to 8 and 9 o'clock tonight. I got my Kenny White numbers and both our numbers and the Ken Palm numbers with the Kenny White numbers. These should sail nice and easily over, which means buckle up because it's going to be a rough ride, as we know. So without further ado, let's bring him in. The one and only Mr. Southside Riley. What is up, Mr. Riley?
What is up, my friend? Happy Thursday afternoon. Thirsty Thursday. Feeling good. Wall-to-wall college basketball starting today. I think maybe Monday it's a little later starting, but 90% of our days here for the next, I don't know how many weeks here, we've got just about wall-to-wall college basketball. So it is a fantastic time to be live for us and as college basketball fans. So I am juiced. Obviously, I don't talk too much about them because since you and I have been doing these shows, they've hit a down skid after I graduated a few years ago from a nice stretch when I was there. But a moment of silence for my Redbirds, Illinois State, for not a very nice season, but ending their season and putting up a fight. And as you texted me, getting the over there. So a poor one out for the Redbirds. Hopefully this is rock bottom for them and they can get things turned around. But I digress. We've got plenty of other basketball. Had issues getting the golf blog up, but I put out my picks this morning. So unfortunately didn't get them out, but all 3 of my guys are playing well. Cam Young, the most notable one. Last I checked, tied for the lead. I don't know. Haven't been paying attention the last couple of hours for the afternoon guys, but nonetheless, happy with what I'm seeing so far. Cam Young, still tied for the league. Actually, Carson Young has the lead in the Puerto Rico Open. So the C Young's taking care of business today. I didn't do anything with the Puerto Rico Open there, but nonetheless, we've got a few NBA games to talk about today, and other than that, plenty of college basketball. And I see you're in front of the Garden again there for the Bruins. So I'm sure we've got some NHL to lay down as well, my friend.
Kind of comical. In my one and dones, I went back to the well with Scotty Scheffler. He's one back. And the other one, I need some traction in both of these. Last year, I did cash. I started the same way, like dead last, ass last, and caught a couple wins and got up to the cash in late. So I was happy there. Used Morikawa. He's got more squares than I saw something last week that I really liked, and I was like, all right, I need to make something happen. So I threw Colin in, and birdie, bogey, eagle, bogey, bogey, birdie, bogey, bogey. I mean, I'm just, hey, Colin, wake up, will you? Jesus. But, I got 3 games going on. I walk in, I left the office for 20 minutes, got a shave and a haircut, and I come back. The Sox had 9. Now I think they had 15 at one point. So we had the Sox on one. We got the locals on the other, and I put the golf on. And I just wrapped up a great show with Andrew McGinnis, talking some pucks. And I go out there for 1 second, and there's Rom standing over a 35-footer for par. And I'm like, well, if he's lucky, he bogeys. No, he drains it.
Drains
so I mean, if it was my guy, he would have 3-putt for a double bogey,
Yeah, flies it 7 feet past the hole and maybe bounces out and then rolls 7 feet past and then can't salvage the comebacker. So and I actually didn't realize he's tied for the lead now as well, 16 with a couple holes left, 5 under. So the guy is a robot, and so is Scotty Scheffler, for goodness sake. So the one guy, I mean, Schauffele was getting a lot of love. Was it 2 weeks ago, I think? Had an outright tournament, and then he's playing really well. That was another one I was looking at. But Fitzpatrick was another one of my guys. I know he doubled one and then came back, and he's 2 under for the day. And then Sung Jae is my other one. He's 1 under. So, we got 3 guys to monitor, and then maybe some ads as the weekend gets along here in the old Arnie Palmy tournament there.
Keep an eye on Cantlay. He's muscling through a -3 last I looked. Actually, he might have dropped one. Hitting a lot of bunkers, but muscling it around. I do know when we had Brady Cannon on yesterday, he talked about weather on Friday and Saturday. So keep an eye on the track there. Maybe you and I will find a way to get together on Sunday to take a look at the board. I'm just going to say this, guys. We've talked about this enough. If you're not into golf, maybe you should start to look at it, because you get 4 days worth of action. You can put, some pizza and bear money, as we like to say, get some great prices, some great odds. ECSI VIPs, we will be making our debut next week in the TPC. Myself and Riley will be doing a lot of golf talk Wednesday at 3:00. We will have Brady Cannon back. He will be talking some golf as well, as we're getting closer to the Masters. So I love golf. I love everything about it. We have had 12 outright winners the last 2 years. Couldn't be prouder of our team. The addition of Riley as well here. We're bringing Brady on once a week as well. We're forming a pretty damn good golf stable here, Riley.
Not too bad. I've got I lost count. I shouldn't say lost count like I had too many. I had 2 or 3 last year outright winners. I know I had 2 out of the 4 majors outright winners, and then I got Justin Rose a few weeks back at Pebble. So I've got 1 under my belt this year. And then obviously with any luck we'll get back in there. I just need I'm still positive on the year, especially with the outright winner. I'm just looking for a positive weekend here. I've had a couple down regression weeks the last 2 times, so I'm due for a bounce back. I just need a couple guys in the top 20, top 10 at the very least, and we'll be jumping for joy if we get one of my 3 guys in the winner's circle this time around.
I know Max Home is off to a great start, playing well again today. Listen, everyone watching and listening, just make yourself a mental note. Horses for courses, as we like to say here. The U.S. Open is where Max played college, and he has the course record. I know the number's probably not going to be the greatest. We're waiting for him to get a little regression, Riley, and maybe we can bump that number up. But just make a mental note to everyone to make sure a little beer and pizza money on Max at the U.S. Open. We can buy those futures early. Massachusetts launches on the 10th next Friday. So all these, we're going to have 7 apps live, and then eventually 3 more. So they're giving away 200, 150. Just keep an eye, read the fine print. But again, probably $25 swings, maybe $50. You don't want to take anything chalky. It's a good way to get into the futures market. Maybe some March Madness, maybe the Masters, maybe the U.S. Open. You want to take some swings, some baseball, some futures in baseball. Take some swings with, some big numbers. the chalk, it is what it is, but you're looking for 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 20 to 1 shots versus the, hey, I'm going to take a swing at this guy or this game and it's minus 190.
Right. And as far as I know, you tied it into obviously all the sports that we cover, but as far as golf goes, there's so many studs right now that just haven't been playing their best, or maybe haven't gotten that winner's circle top 3. That, and I hate to use the word "do" because you do have to tie it into what their strengths are. But there's so many guys that are solid buy low spots. I mean, one of the reasons they took Matt Fitzpatrick is typically I'm surprised these scores are as low as they are today, but. A guy that hasn't been playing that fantastic, but of course that, as compared to a couple weeks ago, that I think, if he finishes, 6, 7 under, he's going to have a great chance. And it was a great buy low spot, in my opinion. So, and throughout the season, there's going to be so many guys that are worth that. Like you said, on the opposite side of the spectrum, you got Homa, obviously, who's been playing out of his mind, who could be due for some regression. But there's some guys that are, top 25 in the world that just haven't had their best that are certainly worth a look at a lot of these tournaments coming up here.
Yeah, absolutely. The California swing, actually the Hawaii, California swings over.
Yeah.
They're in Florida now as they're prepping to get down to Augusta. And we will be there in probably about 6 weeks, I think it is. So, all right, big slates tonight. Hardwood, wherever you want to go. The ball is in your court, sir.
All right. Let's there's only 4 in the NBA, so let's knock that out real quick. Let's see. Yeah, 4 a couple TNT games and then 2 other ones. Toronto at Washington. First one up, 6 my time, 7 your time. Toronto favored by 2 on the road here. And not to sound like a broke record, but we've talked about this Toronto team a lot. They've been winning a lot of games. They've just won against my Bulls. I think they're 3-1 out of the All-Star break. Washington playing a little better. They had a little bit of a dip, but kind of surprised. Are you surprised to see this one as short as it is with the way Toronto's playing right now?
Yeah, the Washington team is, I don't want to say an enigma. They go in spurts. And I had an overnight number of 1 with a 223 at circa now 2 with a 222 and a hook. I actually would probably say it's more of a Washington number to me than it is a Raptors number.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know if it's this Washington team is just so goofy at all points of the season for the most part. But I definitely would lean towards Washington. Not sure if it's enough to get me into the boat with it, but as compared to the Raptors just favored against my Bulls team with a similar record as the Wizards there. So that's definitely where I would lean as well. TNT game, first one up, Philly and Dallas. Dallas -3, obviously plenty of storylines with this one. Dallas obviously not playing well with the Kyrie situation coming down the pipe now. They are 1-2. They've only played 3 games out of the All-Star break. 1-2, obviously weren't winning games coming into that. Only win against the Spurs. Philly just got a split with Miami. They are 2-2, I think, out of the All-Star break there. So I don't know. What are your thoughts of this one? I just haven't been touching these Dallas numbers at all, waiting for them to kind of get leveled out a little bit. At the end of the day, I think their offense will get a lot better as the the next couple of months wears on here, but their defense is still a pretty huge problem for them. So what were you thinking with this one? Because I'm honestly I'm tossing my hands up in the air in this one.
Yeah, I believe it or not, I would say it's a trap, meaning, again, Dallas is playing like ass. And the fact of the matter is, again, it's almost going to the craps table. Are you betting on the come? What's going on here? Every time I dip into the waters with, hey, geez, I'm going to take Philly plus the 3.5 here and look like a hero, they're a no-show. And I'm not spending my hard-earned money on Kyrie, Luke, thanks, but no thanks, if I saw Dirk Nowitzki and maybe a couple of the old-time Ronaldo Blackman and a couple of them, I'd dive into the Mavericks. This is an absolute pass.
Yeah, pass, and I'm seeing as far as bets and money splits on DraftKings here, pretty close to 50-50. So you know what, and if you're trying to scratch an itch, I mean, it's your best guess for the most part on this one here. So I was interested to get your thoughts on this one. Indians, San Antonio, 6.5. Pacers on the road here. 28-35 Indiana. They are playing a little better out of the All-Star break, and San Antonio just got their first win in I don't know how long against the Jazz. 102.94. No Keldon Johnson tonight, though. So maybe I would have said this might have been kind of a fair number, but San Antonio's leading scorer is out. Tyrese Halliburton is questionable. So that's obviously something to watch. But this one felt a little slim to me. What about you?
I had an overnight number of 240 juiced under minus 13 cents with a 4. Circa right now, a 6 with a 238. Obviously overnight, and this morning, my first instinct is the over here. First one to 125 wins this game. Full tank of Palooza, obviously, for Pop, and let's get one by Yamba and get one more dance here. The public now, I'm staying far away. I'd grab my pom-poms, a little popcorn, a little pizza. I'd still take a shot on the over here.
Over, all right. I'm with you on the over, and I'll lean towards the Spurs, but obviously I've had better success early in the season with some of these single-digit spreads, and obviously the Pacers are all over the place. But it's the Keldon Johnson injury, or taking the night off that's that's interesting to me because he really makes that offense go, and I would have been interested to see what that line was if he was supposed to be in this game, honestly. So I'll lean towards the Spurs, somehow finding a way to cover, maybe not win, but at least cover this one. Clippers and Warriors is the last one up. I think that's the other TNT game. Clippers minus 3.5 on the road at Golden State. Obviously, interesting number there with what Golden State has been doing at home, especially as compared to on the road. And we've got Paul George active, Kawhi Leonard active. Still no Steph Curry. I didn't see what the estimated time return for Steph Curry was, but I think he's coming back soon. Not tonight, but soon. What are you thinking with this one? 3.5 for Golden State at home.
Oh, instantly, old Jeff. When we started ECSI back in 2015, where some of you guys were probably not even on Twitter yet, a lot of our information was based on ticket counts. It was based on reverse line movement. Well, now the casinos and the books and all these million websites have caught up to it. They're going to put up there what they want, and I don't believe any of it. Or I have enough information where a lot of it's a gut feel now. When you look at this number, this is like the Jedi mind tricks. I mean, obviously it's a Clipper number. They're telling you, whoa. I mean, look at what Golden State does at home. I don't care if Steph's not there. I don't care about that. Yeah. There's still, it's the NBA and what's at home. Okay.
And
so that's the
not
first
to cut you
instinct.
off. Yeah, sorry. Not to cut you off, but
go ahead.
Golden State's won 3 in a row as well, all at home. After I think 3 of their last 4, they've won 3 in a row, all of them at home as well, and the Clippers have lost 3 in a row.
And I don't have any numbers in front of me. Last time I remember Golden State dogs at home was against the Celtics, and they beat us.
I'm trying to find it right now to see what that last time is. But you cut off for a second. You said you think the last time there were dogs at home was against your Celtics. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, it's they not one single time in February. They were favored at home there. They were favored against the Grizzlies back in January. Let's see, that was at Boston. They were not dogs at home the entire month of January. I mean, so I'm still looking. I'm still searching. I see maybe there were some injuries. December 30th at home against Portland, they closed as a 1-point dog. So I assume no Steph, maybe no a couple other guys. That was the last time.
All right. So this is a classic Jedi mind trick here, okay? In other words, it's absolutely without a doubt a Clipper number. Now, if you want to dive in here, you have to do this strategically because you have to grab the Clippers in the first half because there's a halftime call and there's a third quarter call at the end there, okay? And why do I say this? Okay, guys, the games are not rigged. They're not staged. I'll use the word coincidental, okay? Here's a perfect example. Last night I was at the Celtics. The Celtics opened 5-point favorites. They closed 4.5-point favorites. They were blowing out the Cavaliers. And then with 2 minutes left, Garland hits 3 threes. and Tatum misses a free throw, and someone else misses a free throw. Well, miraculously, Cleveland's now down 4 with 11.2 seconds left. The Celtics inbound the ball. They spread the court out. The Cavaliers don't foul, and it landed on 4. Miraculously, okay? It wasn't rigged. It's just coincidental. It's numbers. That's all it is. It's numbers. Okay? It was a coincidence. Whatever. Donaghy wasn't reffing that game, guys. Okay?
Right.
So the fact of the matter is, again, the under-over into last night was 233. It's 231 in a hook now. So just do basic math here. 15, 17. Okay. So the final score here, they're telling me, is 117, 118, 115. Okay. 118 to 115. That's the final score. So I will ask Riley right now, is the Clippers team total 118 and a half or 117 and a half?
117 and a half.
Okay. There you go. So is the Golden State team total 113 and a half or 114 and a half?
It's 114 and a half.
Okay. So there you go. So if you like the Clippers, you think take their team total over 117 and a half. Save the headache. Just take the Clippers team total over 117 and a half and go have fun. That's all.
Yeah. Absolutely. Golden State, I 4-0 as a home underdog this season, straight up and against the number, 4-0. So
they beat the Celtics. I know that.
Yeah, it's been a while, and the game I said, they beat the Jazz, they beat the Blazers in the end of December. I assume at least a couple of them without Steph there for sure. So, all right, that's about it for the NBA. That one was the TNT late game there. So. Oh, man. 2 games going on right now. Actually, it looks like one is just ending. Troy taking down Arkansas State, and Indiana State up 77-43 on Evansville there for the still day one of the Missouri Valley there. But we can get right into it. Let's dive in right into the Big Ten. Michigan at Illinois, 4.5, 5 here. This one's at Illinois, 144 and a half is the total. Michigan's got 3 straight wins. Illinois coming off that loss against Ohio State after a couple nice wins. Should win against Minnesota, and then a very nice win at home against Northwestern. Couldn't cover, but got the win there. Illinois is actually, at least the last 5 here, Illinois has actually controlled this matchup between these two teams the last few years here. But I don't know. Would you like this one to be a little bit higher? I mean, you had Illinois minus 7.5 at home against Northwestern a week or so ago. But on the other end of the token here, these games have been getting sharp, but I've been kind of calling BS on some of these lines that don't have as much of the statements there. I don't know. Obviously I'm an Illinois guy, but Michigan with 3 straight wins, maybe they're getting hot at the right time, and maybe this is a great spot for Michigan. But 3 straight wins feels like the time where they drop the 4th one here instead of going 4 in a row here, in my opinion.
Well, when we talked on Thursday, February 23rd, that Northwestern Illinois game, it was an Illinois number, it was 6.5, 7. They were down by a bazillion. They came storming back, and they won by 4. They didn't cover. They lose to Ohio State. Now, this is a double-edged sword for me, the way I read this game, because it's their last home game. So unless they had senior night against Northwestern, it's senior night tonight. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, Michigan is getting hot at the right time. But here's what scares me with your Illinois team today. Sunday, they travel to Purdue. Are they peeking ahead? Listen, Ken Palm's got them losing to Purdue by 9. So if you're peeking ahead and Michigan beats you, you're going to end the year losing 3 in a row here and 5 of the last 7. It's a Michigan number. It's not. Listen, if we said that Illinois and Northwestern at 6.5, 7 was an Illinois number, this is definitely a Michigan number. But with all that said, I like Illinois tonight.
That's kind of where I'm at. And I was at, I don't remember what the number was exactly. I've kind of been having the success and I guess leans not actually jumping in and diving into it with the Big Ten as far as some of those numbers. But, kind of just going off of how the Big Ten's gone, where if a team's had 3 straight wins or 3 out of 4 or something like that, instead of rolling it into 4 or 5 straight wins in a row, then they drop one, or maybe it's not a time for the drop 3 out of 4 in a row, but. I don't know. I'd be more willing to bet Michigan dropping one, but I agree with you. As compared to Illinois Northwestern number to this one, I'm with you for sure there. So interested to see how it goes, and obviously both these teams have been all over the place. It wouldn't surprise me if either of these two teams won by 20 in this one tonight. So you were right about senior night, though. I double checked. It is senior night tonight, and then they'll have a tough one at Purdue, obviously, on this weekend. So let's see.
I might want to tell everyone, if you're on the Illinois train tonight, again, senior night, kids are jacked up, parents there, roses, tears. Grab some Illinois first half. You don't have to go unit. If you're going to do 1 unit on the game, put a half unit on the first half on the full game here. You don't need to be pushing all in and get caught up in the end game. Hey, maybe they're too jacked up and they can't throw it in the ocean. Yeah. Ken Pop got it 75-71, so he's got it right on 4 tonight. Again, with Purdue lurking on Sunday, with the loss to Ohio State, this is time. Listen, you're 19-10. It's nice to get 20 wins under the belt before the conference play. I'm not saying Illinois is not in. Ken Palm's got him at 36. But listen, you don't want to be losing 5 of 6, 5 of 7, and getting knocked out early in the conference championship series before you head into the big dance. So take care of business tonight, please.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know exactly what the seedings look like, but could avoid playing a day early than they have to. But on the other hand, Michigan's very much on the bubble. I think last I checked, they were projected first 4 out or next 4 out or something like that. So let's see. Moving along down the line. And stop me if you've got any of these other tournament games or anything going on. We can jump right into the other Big Ten game at that same time there. Rutgers at Minnesota. Rutgers minus 8.5 at the Minnesota Golden Gophers. 7-20 Minnesota Golden Gophers. That one is a little stinky, and especially when you throw in a 90-55 Rutgers win the first time around as 15-point favorites, my friend. This one is, I've told you, I have not had much feel for these Minnesota numbers, but 7.5-point dogs at Nebraska, and now 8.5-point dogs here at home against old Rutgers is a little concerning here for the Scarlet Knights. Coming up, their offense, though, Rutgers' offense the last 3 games has not been very good. Tough opponents for sure. They've won 2 out of the 3 games, but haven't cracked 60 in their last 3 games here. So maybe this is another tough offensive night. Total at 128.5 there. Maybe lean towards the under on that one, but this one could be your midweek paint dryer here, my friends. So I will lean towards Minnesota taking care of the 8.5 there.
This team is as bad as it gets. By the way, Riley, your eyes have been amazing. I think someone's rubbing off on you lately. Hats off. Great job there. Ken Palm's got this game. Rutgers at 31st. Minnesota at 224. They got a 67-57. So they got it at 10, but a total of 124 here. I look at my screen, my numbers. I had a 125 and a hook this morning and last night with a 9. It's down to 8.5 and a 127.5 at the circa. Good afternoon to Mr. Benson, Mr. Metcalf, Mr. Stevens. How are you today? It smells to high. Listen, guys, this is if you got Pepto-Bismol to the left, you got Tums to the right, and you can stomach this. It's a Minnesota number. It is. Yeah. If you can grab 9, grab it. Just little pizza and beer. Don't watch a lick of it because I'm telling you, Minnesota is as bad as it gets. But it's definitely a Minnesota number.
Yeah, I think this would be. I'm taking it. I think this is the second time I've had them. First time around was that ugly It was an ugly showing, and ever since I had a sour taste in my mouth. But this is the most glaring one since that. The first time around, it was the Michigan game where Michigan was coming off 4 days rest of a London trip and a 4-point loss against Kentucky in London. 2 days after, a 2-point loss against Virginia, and then Michigan comes out 20-5 to start the game or something like that. So, yeah, I am. Yeah, this will be my last, maybe last. We'll see what happens the next week and a half, but. Going to be an early exit for Minnesota next week. I will predict that. Not a hot take at all.
And TJ said Penn State last night too, Riley had.
I'm hot with the. Hey, I've been. If I'm above 50% in the college basketball, it's because of the Big Ten, and I might be under 50% everywhere else. But you got to give me my my one area of expertise there for the college basketball season there. So let's see. Moving on, there are a couple semifinal games in a tournament. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. I think it's the A-Sun. Lipscomb, Kennesaw, and then one other one that I'm drawing a blank on without seeing it in front of my face. But let's see. Moving on down the line, we've got, just sticking with the Big Ten here, Purdue at Wisconsin, 4.5. Wisconsin at home, 127.5, 128. This Purdue team has not been playing well, obviously. Those close losses early in the season finally caught up to them. First time these two teams have actually played each other, but take it for whatever it's worth. Wisconsin's actually won 3 of the last 4 matchups between these two. The last 2, both last year as underdogs. One as a 13-point underdog, and then almost a year to date as 3-point underdogs last year at Wisconsin, 70-67 win. But Wisconsin's been going back and forth. They've been subscribing to the win one, lose one method here. So, man, you either expected Purdue to have a huge bounce back finally, or you were subscribing to the Wisconsin win one, lose one method here. I'm going to lean towards Wisconsin covering. I wouldn't be surprised if Purdue gets back to winning a game by 1 or 2 points, but I'll lean towards Wisconsin covering this one.
All this morning, this one looked like a layup to me. And then I'm hearing through the grapevine, and maybe you can clue me in, questionable Hepburn for Wisconsin. And they're saying if he doesn't play, it's a big miss for Wisconsin here. The number to me screams Wisconsin. I'm not buying in on Purdue. I'm not. And watch, Purdue and Kansas will be in the Final Four. I guarantee it. I'm not buying in on either one of these damn two teams, but they'll get me. Trust me. Houston and UCLA won't even make the second weekend. You watch. But to me, it's a Wisconsin number. With that said, people, I'm backing off because I think the more I'm listening, the more I'm watching, the Badgers are that public trendy dog tonight. I would be Wisconsin or nothing. Honestly, I'm not touching the game. So that means I'm not touching it. Wisconsin not only covers, wins outright, but if I released Wisconsin today, Edie or Eddie or whatever, just call me a big guy, scores 30 tonight and they win by 25.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And Hepburn, I haven't seen any active updates. I'm glad you brought that up because it was the game against Michigan. He went out at the end of it there. And I've been in a spot where I've gotten some wins in my under my belt the last 2 weeks or so betting against Purdue. So I'm at a spot where I'm pretty pleased with the stretch that I've had against Purdue a couple of times. Or the first time against Indiana, leaned against them this past weekend, didn't have them, and then. One of these other games I'm drawing a blank on, but nonetheless, they are a very good team, but all the close losses or close wins they had early in the season are catching up to them, and they're still getting everyone's best shot at the same time of it. So it's going to be an interesting one for sure there. Going to the Pac-12, finally switching up conferences here. Arizona State at UCLA. 11.5-point spread for UCLA at home here. They have won a handful in a row. Arizona State's playing pretty well as well. UCLA gets a 12-point win January 19th at Arizona State. Just pulling it up here so we can get a reference to see where Arizona State is. But I usually kick it to you with these Pac-12 games. Seems like a fairly sizable number there, but Pac-12 not my area of expertise. So what are you thinking with this one here?
My overnight number was a 13 and a hook with a 133. Anyone that knows me, that knows that number can only go one way and down, and that's where it's gone. People remember the three-quarter court short from Arizona State over in the weekend, and it's down to 11 and a half. Everywhere on the Vegas Strip, but at the Circa. The Circa just moved it to 12 with a 133 and a hook because he knows where I am on this game. Of course he does. It's a UCLA number. It's not an Arizona State number, guys. It opened up big for a reason. They need Arizona State money. Look for the the UCLA Bruins to take care of business. Let's see how sharp I am here. Riley, 13 and a half now at 12. Did they give the UCLA push in the first half? Is it a 6.5, maybe even a 7? Or did they get cutesy with a 5.5 or a 6?
I see 6.5.
6.5. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's still, if I heard 7, I would say that's a UCLA first half go number for sure. But even at that number, it's still a lean to UCLA. For me, it's a Bruins play and only a Bruins play.
Yeah. No, I'm with you for sure. And especially as we get on to the last handful of games here, Arizona State's projected to be, I think, the last team, at least for what I was looking at, the last team in the tournament. And so when you've got a giant like this that can almost single-handedly punch your ticket, the people are going to be interested in that underdog there, especially a team that's been pretty solid. And I think they should be in, as we've talked about. But I would have respected a single-digit number for sure at opening for Arizona State here, not the one we've seen. So glad to see that one. TJ asked USC at home here. Got to find that one for us to see what we've got. Let's see. Oh, USC hosting Arizona 2.5. Obviously, a pretty different story as compared to the last one there. USC, 4 wins in a row. Arizona just coming off the loss at home against Arizona State there. Arizona gets the 81-66 win back on January 19th as 8.5-point favorites. What are you thinking with this one?
What's killing me here is Arizona coming off the loss. I would assume if you looked at their resume, they haven't lost 2 in a row all season. This USC team, by the way, Riley, they got the memo. You remember a week, 10 days ago when I was telling everyone here, everyone's sleeping on this USC team, and they just go on. They've won 4 in a row. My overnight number now was 1.5 with a 157. Right now, as we speak, the Circa has it at 2 with a 155.5. It's 1.5, 2 across the Vegas Strip. My heart is with USC, Harold Miner, Mr. Scalabrini and company. But listen, I'm not in on the Arizona train. Everyone knows that. I'm in on the UCLA train out west. I'll even favor St. Mary's to go further than Arizona, which I know is not going to happen. But the fact of the matter is, I'm rooting the shit out of USC here. Listen, if Arizona State doesn't make that three-quarter court shot and Arizona won that game, this is an absolute no-brainer. USC wins this. My heart's with USC. If you can get them +2, sprinkle a little pizza and beer money on them to grab them on the money line. I just hate the fact that Arizona is coming off a loss.
You're right. They are playing UCLA this weekend, though, Arizona. So that does help a little bit as far as a potential look ahead, maybe. I think that is they are on the road there, so I think they've already had their senior night there. But USC and Arizona State this weekend, though, is going to be a huge one, especially if USC and Arizona State both lose tonight. That's going to be a huge one. USC projected to be a 10 seed right now, so a loss today and a loss on to Arizona State could be an ugly situation for them trying to lock it down there. So
take it from the Arizona standpoint too, though. If they lose tonight, that's 2 in a row, and I think I'm going to pull it up just to see here because I thought the number was 8. Ken Palm's got UCLA -7 against Arizona 79-72. So there could be a potential for 3 losses in a row if Arizona loses tonight. So it's a real tricky. It's a must not. I hate using must win. It's a sense of urgency on both sides tonight.
Yeah. I'm excited to watch this one. That one should be a good one there. So, let's see. Anything else? Any of these other any tournament games? Any of these smaller games? I think we touched about all of the big games on the power conferences here.
I'm going to pull one up. Pac-12, one more game up, and I just wanted to see the resume here because something stood out to me. And I just want to make sure 6-14, they lost to them 56-51. I'm pulling up the Washington State game, and something jumps out at me, and I just had to double check. Washington State is favored by 1.5 at Washington. Washington State is 15-15. They have won 5 in a row. They are playing their best ball now. Last one was to USC and UCLA. Washington 16-14 here. I like Washington State. Do not play the 1.5. Please play the money line minus 118, 20, 122. Leave the 1.5 on the table here. The thing that sticks out the most to me is, again, Washington 16-14, Washington State 15-15. Okay, it's at Washington. I would respect Washington as a 2.5, 3-point favorite. They're home dogs tonight. Vegas knows where they're leaning. They put their stamp on Washington State tonight. I like them in this spot. Take them in the money line here. That's the play that I like also here in the Pac-12.
Yeah, I like it, and honestly, the records are obviously close, but I think Washington State's pretty. I don't want to say significantly better, but good enough to deserve being favored in this spot here. So, anything else on the slate this evening? Like I said, couple semifinal games in the A-Sun. Actually, Liberty and Eastern Kentucky by records look like it could be a good one, but Liberty minus 12. Any thoughts on either of those two games or any of those other random tournament games here?
I'm just looking deep, seeing if I can find anything. Lipscomb, Kenesaw State was at a 4. Yeah, like you said, Eastern Kentucky, Liberty, I had it at 13 and a hook. Again, that's another game that number can only go one way, like the UCLA game is down. Liberty probably wins by about 15 or 20. Colgate, Loyola, Maryland, that's a 16. Army, Navy. No, nothing there.
Actually, let me throw one in there. Is this one stinky at all to you? I haven't touched this conference too much here. 10-19 SMU, 6.5 point dogs at home against 22-7 Memphis. Is that one any stink to you?
Memphis just coming off the who'd Memphis have over the weekend?
They beat Cincinnati by 3.
All right. So Ken Palm's got Memphis at 40, SMU at 174. They got Memphis 81-72. They got them by 9. 10-19 SMU, and they have won 4 games in their last. They started 6-9, 1-1 in conference. They're now 5-11. So they've only won 4 games in their last 15. It's senior night for them. Let me see who Memphis has got in their last spot here.
They've got.
Good call. See, I'm telling you, Riley's cooking with Crisco here, guys. Memphis has got Houston on Sunday at home, senior night, the last game of the year. Ken Palm's got them losing by 7. That could be the ECSI dog of the day there for Memphis. As big of a Houston fan as I am, that could be our dog of the day. Good eyes on SMU. This is a classic peekaboo. Hard-fought game against Cincinnati. Houston on Sunday. Great eyes. Shop around here if you can. Let me see here. What did you have for a number, Riley?
I saw 6.5, I think.
Yeah, I had an overnight number of 8. People are on to this one. It's 6.5. Buy the hook at Circa. Get them at 7. Sprinkle a little beer and pizza money on the Mustangs. You can get a nice price there. Great eyes, Riley. Great job there.
Yeah, wish I would have seen it when it was 7 or 8 there, but no, yeah, that's an interesting one for sure there. Yeah, just trying to see if there's any other goofy looking ones here. I actually took them over the weekend. Mississippi Valley State 5-25 now. I had them as short home dogs. They're 5.5-point dogs, not quite the same, but they're playing 16-12 Alcorn State. That one, another stinky one. It was kind of a joke a couple of years ago, and they were the worst team in college basketball. Now they're 320th as opposed to 350th. So still kept tabs on them a little bit there. So maybe a goofy one there. But aside from that, I don't think I've got anything else.
Unless Jerry Rice was suiting up for Mississippi Valley State, we'll pass there. No pun intended. NHL tonight, and I wasn't on yesterday, but I know the night before, I think I gave out 5 totals and some big totals numbers, and I think we went 4-1. So grab your pen and pencils. I'm going to see if I can give some people some totals here tonight. Let's see here. I can't give you Pittsburgh. That's too juicy. All right. We had Andrew on earlier. He loves the over in this game. Take the Rangers team total 3.5. You'll probably get that plus 100, maybe minus 110 there. Nashville, Florida. They're baiting you to take the Florida team total over 3.5 minus 130 tonight. I don't like to lay that kind of juice. If you need to scratch an itch, I would say you could get it on the Panther side tonight. A little desperation, as Andrew talked about there. Seattle and Detroit's kind of comical. A 6.5. The Kraken. Detroit was minus 110 overnight. The Kraken now minus 120. I'm going to throw a comical one out here. The Red Wings team total over 3.5 plus 135. Take a look at that one. Vegas thinks the Bruins are scoring 4 or more tonight. First game back off a long, long road trip where they were very successful. 3.5 over minus 170 over my dead body. Thank you. If you think it's going to be a high-scoring game, you can get the Sabres team total over 2.5 plus 100 tonight there. Dallas and Chicago, your Blackhawks coming back home, 2.5 at even money. No thanks. But I like the Stars team total over 3.5. That's around minus 120, 125 there. Andrew likes the Leafs, 7-0-1 after a loss. You can get their team total over 3.5 plus 115 there. Take a look at the Wild team total over 3.5 plus 115 there. And last but not least, the Blues team total over 3.5. You can get it plus 145. They're playing the Sharks. That's the late night game there. Both team totals juice real high to the under 3.5. It's 6.5, some 6s in spots, but I think the Blues get to 4 tonight.
And the debut, I think he's playing tonight, the debut of Patrick Kane for the Rangers. So I might have to pop into that one and see how things go with that there. So I told you I'll root for him, and I'll root for the Rangers, especially with my Blackhawks in the tankathon there. So I've got nothing else, my friend. Let's go ahead and wrap it up here, eh?
Yeah, and TJ giving you another shout out. You had the Notre Dame again last night. So again, it's kind of fun. I'm going to say this in a positive way to everyone watching and listening. Myself and Riley have been working together now we've been friends and colleagues and all that. We met in March finally. in Vegas, but we had worked together, done some shows with his partner throughout the 4 or 5 months leading up to March. He jumps on board with us this past fall. When you work together with people with the same end game, the same goal, everyone does it differently. Okay. But with me and Riley working together now, he's starting to see some of my tendencies. He sees my eyes with his eyes and vice versa. And that's how you work together. I call it like the pitch back effect, where Riley throws stuff out to me, I process it, and then I throw it back to him. It's like a tennis game, serving and volley, or a ping pong game. And you're starting to get, I'm not saying I'm rubbing off on you, but you're starting to pick up on some tendencies.
Oh yeah, it's and getting rid of a lot of the bad habits or bad practices, I guess, is another part of it there. So, appreciate the love, TJ, because Notre Dame was Penn State was more of a lean, and Notre Dame was my favorite pick of the day, and then I think I know I had a couple of bad ones too. Oklahoma, I was torn on, and I was leaning towards Oklahoma. I know that one was an ugly one. My Bulls got the win, but I was all if it wasn't my Bulls, I would have been all in on the Pistons, and the Pistons got the cover +6 there. So Bulls get the Suns tomorrow night though, so could be worth a play with Kevin Durant, day number 2 there. So that's my closer. Maybe I'm not sure what my day holds tomorrow, but if I like something, I'll get a Bulls blog out tomorrow with some Suns Bulls action going on tomorrow night.
What did Katie and Booker, in 2 or 3 quarters, put up a quiet 60 combined or something stupid like that?
I know Booker had a ton. I looked at something like that. I want to say KD. I honestly didn't watch it. I think he might have had 20 something, but I know Booker had a huge number.
Tomorrow, I'm just thinking out loud. It's going to be the debut of Matt Grissom. We're going to be talking college baseball at 1:30 my time. Potentially Zaid Hussein in his 3:30 spot. I haven't heard from him. He's going to Vegas for the UFC this weekend. So we're going to see if we're going to catch up with him. Don't know your schedule. Are you available in the morning, in the afternoon? What is your schedule for tomorrow?
Tomorrow I am. I think I'm available in the afternoon. I'll have to double check and see what lines up there. But I think I should be available in the afternoon.
All right. So we'll do a bell tomorrow night.
I think so. Plan on that for now. Yeah, I think that should work.
At 9 o'clock tonight, I'm not done. That fresh shave and a haircut, I'm all jacked up on coffee here. So 9 o'clock, myself and Scotty Webb will get you caught up in baseball, more injuries, closer to the WBC. I know TJ's going to the WBC. Scotty's going to the WBC, and which will be in Miami for the quarter semis and I think the finals there. So we're going to get some baseball talk there. Nothing in the morning right now scheduled for us. Again, 1:30 Matt Grissom, potentially in the afternoon Zaid Hussein, and then of course, actually, we're going to try to get Steven Nover from Las Vegas, writer, professional sports gambler, works with pregame.com. Going to try to get him in the afternoon. We tried last week. We had some technical difficulties, so we're going to see if he's up and running and we can get him on. So we'll have a busy afternoon for everyone there. And then the weekend's up for grabs. We'll see what happens then. So for myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson. We wish everyone a blessed evening. Thank you all for watching and listening. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go over to East Coast Sports Invest to subscribe. It's free. And if you're on Twitch, you can subscribe from there. It's free as well. And we'll catch up with everyone later tonight around 9 o'clock.